Sometimes games are only as great as the challenge they present to the player. Whether that be a perfectly timed set of jumps, puzzles that melt the mind, or maybe even a stealth section that requires precise movement to conquer. More often than not, if it's none of these, then it's going to be combat that challenges the player. Sometimes this can prove to just be more engaging to tackle for hours on end, but sometimes there's just one enemy in a game that'll hold you back. So with that being said, I'm Ben Roy from WhatCulture.com, and this is 10 amazing video games with one annoying enemy. Number 10. Geth Stalker. Mass Effect. Now the Geth are an awesome part of the Mass Effect trilogy, and we don't talk about Andromeda here. They serve as a worthy foe in the first game, and continue to be a threat as they go on. But as they're pretty much the only enemy Shepard fights in the first game, BioWare decided to mix it up a bit, and throw a ton of different versions in. Which is fine, but then we got Stalkers. These bastards jump from wall to wall, out of the player's eyesight, shooting them erratically. You never get to deal much damage to them before they jump around again, and it just slows the pace of the game down, bringing their level to a real crawl. And then they make a boss out of this thing. BioWare did the right thing in later games, and stopped using them. Number 9. ESO-Cop rovers surviving Mars. Why limit building settlements on planet Earth? We've got an entire galaxy out there to take advantage of, and this is video games. So thanks to Paradox Interactive, we can finally colonize Mars. Now in 2021, a lot of games spoon-feed players, telling them where to go, what to do, and how to do it. But that wasn't the case in Surviving Mars. At first, coming across these rovers, they're harmless and go about their business searching Mars. But later on in the certain mission, a minor pop-up comes up which you should watch out for. This pop-up states that they may not be friendly at first, and then almost out of nowhere, we enter Marsgate and ESO-Corp rovers start attacking us. With mortar-like rockets, if you're not prepared, they'll destroy your base. And the only thing a player can do is rampantly build defense turrets. And if you're not ready, you're gonna have to start the mission again. Number 8. Suicide Bombers. Rainbow Six Siege. This is a game that shouldn't be in 2021, but somehow Ubisoft nursed this one back to health. Though one aspect of Siege that's fallen by the wayside is Terrorist Hunt, this being a classic mode from games old. And it's the only real player versus AI mode in Siege. But damn, the AI is a mixed bag. Sometimes these masked villains will come out of anywhere, scrambling towards the opposing team, ready to explode. It makes sense they've got no self-preservation, but it's almost bloody annoying. And the worst ones of them all are the heavy breathing fellows that sound like Darth Vader. Coming out of nowhere, these big men will be covered in explosives and armor, but be warned only precise shots in the head will take them down. Anything else just won't work and they'll be in your face in a second. Number 7. Poison Headcrabs. Half-Life 2. Hiding in every nook and cranny, the Headcrab is essentially Half-Life's version of the Facehugger. And what a better way to show off a new shiny Source engine than have a little Headcrab rummage around rubbish. Physics were a huge focus of Half-Life 2, so these crabs really took advantage of the setting and encouraged players to use the trusty crowbar to break rubble and smack them out of the sky. That, or you could just use a grenade launcher, I guess. But once the players mastered hitting them out of the sky and going for a home run, they'll be faced with the poison variety. But before they see them, they'll hear the terrifying rattle. And just like that, in a single attack, Gordon will be down to 1 health point, leaving him extremely vulnerable to other attacks. Many times over, this has caught players out and led them to game over. Gordon's health eventually does come back, but not all the way. So when going through Ravenholm, be ready for these ones. Number 6. Skulls. Metal Gear Solid 5. The Phantom Pain is a game that's almost damn near perfect, with its addictive gameplay loops and unique style. Somehow it successfully transfers the franchise from its linear roots to an open world. Sadly though, Skulls will be the real pain in this game. Mission 1 starts off fairly straightforward, with an extraction of Miller, but before you can rendezvous with Pequod, Big Boss is met by enemies unlike any other. The Skulls, also known as the Parasite Unit, show themselves as they emerge from the mist, engulfed in mystery. Their movement is erratic and unpredictable, as they're equipped for close quarters and long-range combat, and they pretty much teleport as well. For the most part, running away on D-Horse will be the best bet here, but later on in the game, this isn't an option. Number 5. Mimics. Prey. Much like the poison headcrabs on this list, the mimics are crafty, little, and can hide anywhere. Nowhere is safe on Talos 1. But unlike the headcrabs, they aren't reserved to dark corners or hiding in boxes. No, because these are mimics, and they do exactly what it says on the tin. They can become anything pretty much. See an item moving or maybe an extra one around? You're not going crazy, but be ready to smash it or mark it as not a mimic. You'd also think at first sight these sluggish looking crab things would go for the kill. But no, they're actually quite clever and they'll wait for the best opportunity to strike. Number 4. Creepers, Minecraft. But now the creeper is synonymous with Minecraft, becoming basically the face of the game. Sorry Steve, just line up the zombie, the skeleton, the enderman or the creeper, and 9 times out of 10 the ones responsible for your death will be the creeper, or maybe just the loss of a house. And yes, somehow these big bright green creepy looking things are the master of stealth. This is probably why Sam Fisher doesn't have a job anymore. And to make things worse, the sunlight doesn't kill them like every other monster in Minecraft. Hours spent building works of art are volleyed in an instant. And a word of warning, don't use fire to kill them, as they'll blow up in a fireball and burn everything down. A hiss followed by a bang is usually the last thing a player will ever hear, before they become a loot crater in the ground. Number 3. Lakitu, Super Mario Bros. Yes, some almost 40 years later and there's Koopa in the Cloud still makes the list. And why? Well, every level that has the Lakitu in it is a pain, thanks to an unlimited amount of spinies it'll unleash. Literally nowhere is safe. Even if you take it out, all Mario can do is run, grab a fire flower, spam that baby and just run off to the right. And if I'm just being honest, everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom would benefit if this Lakitu just buggered off back to Mario Kart, so it can fish drivers out of the drink or become a glorified timekeeper. Number 2. Peekaboo, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. If the idea of Mario with a gun wasn't insane enough for you, then how about Shigeru Miyamoto and Yves Guillemot as they fended off Vivendi back at E3 2017? Mario, along with 2 other companions, take on an XCOM top-down style strategy shooter against the titular Rabbids. And they come in many forms, but none so rage-inducing as the Peekaboo. This ghoul shows up in spooky trails and is a teleporting terror. Within a single set of moves, it can teleport across the map, attack the player, and then run away, turning games into a wild goose chase. One isn't enough either, as after a brief cutscene, the next world will be full of them. Up until this point, the battles had remained, well, quite simple, but the late game difficulty curve here ramps up extremely, leaving casual strategy players in the dust. Number 1. Eliminators, Resident Evil 0. Forget the zombies, the lickers or Nemesis, even Mr. X, because the Eliminators are the most rage-inducing enemy in the entire franchise. These primates infected with the T-virus are let loose upon the facility and give Billy and Rebecca a real hard time. Combining speed and the leaping abilities of the hunters, these white furry monsters bring back flashbacks from Congo. Yes, that 90s horror movie all about killer gorillas, and these ones are in a not so fun size. But what really helps these demon monkeys top this list is they're absolutely broken and they can force a player into a stun lock. Get caught out or perhaps in a corner and you're done. There's just no way to escape them. And while separated, they'll just keep hitting the player until they're dead. There's literally nothing the player can do. The Eliminators break the experience of Resident Evil 0 and they're worse than the leech zombies. It really does hold 0 down. And that's our list. That's 10 amazing video games with 1 annoying enemy. I'm sure you can think of some more, so let us know down in the comments below and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And while you're there, follow us at WCulture Gaming and follow me at Ben Roy Turner. And until next time, no more games.